Today is the only Sunday of the year when I tend to put the sermon before the gospel. And that is because the Passion Gospel is uniquely its own sermon. I also think this is one of the only two times that I can remember when there are two gospel readings in the same service on a Sunday. And you can get some extra points if you'll remember the other time. Both Gospels today, the one we started with outside and the one that we will hear in just a moment, come from the Gospel of Luke, and they are parts of the same story. This morning we begin the most sacred time in Christianity, Holy Week. For the next 6 days we will walk the path of Jesus through the last days leading up to the crucifixion. On Maundy Thursday, we will join Jesus and his disciples in the upper room as we remember the Last Supper. On Good Friday, we will stand at the foot of the cross, and then we will wait 3 days. And on Sunday morning, Christians throughout the world will once again celebrate the resurrection, when life overcame death and when love overcame evil. This morning, we began at the beginning of the story of Palm Sunday when Jesus comes to Jerusalem. In Jesus' day, parades were quite common, especially when someone important was coming to town. People would line the streets and wave palm branches, and the more people, the better. History tells us that Pilate, the Roman governor, had come to Jerusalem just a few days before. And his soldiers had probably forced the entire population of the city out to line the streets for the grand entrance. Pilate was not popular, especially with the Jews. The Roman soldiers would stand behind the crowds and they would beat anyone who did not cheer loud enough in their opinion. And the poor and the working class Jews suffered the most. And they were hoping that Jesus would come and save them from the Romans. So when the word spread just days later that Jesus was at the city gates, the Jews hurried to welcome their king. They waved palm branches just as they had done a few days before when Pilate arrived, but this time they waved them because they wanted to. The Gospel of John tells us they even spread their coats on the ground like a red carpet. And on this day, they cheered Jesus, and yet just a few days later, these same people would yell, "Crucify him, crucify him." So what happened? Well, the Jews didn't understand why Jesus had come. They wanted him to come and attack with a powerful army behind him, defeat the Roman invaders, just as King David had done centuries before, and make everyone rich and happy again. When it didn't happen, when Jesus spoke about love for your neighbor instead of killing your enemy, forgiveness instead of war, the people turned against him. They did not know why Jesus had come. Many today do not know why Jesus has come. Oh, everyone knows Easter is a week away. It's like a parade. We've seen the advertisements for Easter clothes, Easter candy, Easter sales. I'm sure someone will hold that big blowout Easter sale for the new 2019 cars. It's not that the world doesn't want hope and joy and love and new life. They just don't know why Christ has come. On this Palm Sunday, we stand at the entrance to Holy Week and Easter once more. We're invited to walk the way of hope and life that leads from the gates of Jerusalem to the table in an empty room to a cross on a hill called Golgotha. Our journey will end and begin again at an empty tomb where angels will proclaim he is risen. Christ is risen. And we will know why Christ has come. Carry these palm branches with you today and throughout your week. Offer your praises and recall the steps of Jesus. Hear the Passion Gospel this morning, not just with your ears, but with the faith that resurrection is coming. You may remain seated for the first part of the gospel, and then when you are invited, you may stand or sit as is best for you. So hear now the passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to Luke. You can remain seated during the first part.
The assembly of the elders of the people, both chief priests and scribes, gathered together, and they brought him to their council. They said,
"If you are the Messiah, tell us."
He replied,
"If I tell you, you will not believe, and if I question you, you will not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the power of God."
All of them asked,
"Are you then the Son of God?"
He said to them,
"You say that I am."
Then they said,
"What further testimony do we need? We have heard it ourselves from his own lips."
Then the assembly rose as a body and brought Jesus before Pilate. They began to accuse him, saying,
"We found this man perverting our nation, forbidding us to pay taxes to the emperor, and saying that he himself is the Messiah, a king."
Then Pilate asked him,
"Are you the king of the Jews?"
He answered,
"You say so."
Then Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowds,
"I find no basis for an accusation against this man."
but they were insistent and said,
"He stirs up the people by teaching throughout all Judea, from Galilee where he began, even to this place."
When Pilate heard this, he asked whether the man was a Galilean. And when he had learned that he was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him off to Herod, who was himself in Jerusalem at that time. When Herod saw Jesus, he was very glad, for he had been wanting to see him for a long